Welcome to Yerba Talks.
Welcome to another interview. Today we have Rusted Soul. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm doing awesome. It's great to have you. And why are you here? People might be wondering. We kind of bonded over bashing Witsit a little bit. That pretty amazing. And we have all the same objections. It's wild. So I thought, why don't we talk about that? And in the meantime, people, make sure to do the social thing is like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, that corner of your street, and yet subscribe to Yerba Talks. And also Rusted Soul. Could someone please share her link? Because we are going to be talking about, and she dropped yesterday and today.
No, 2 days ago and today, but yeah, close.
All right, yes, sorry.
That's okay.
That and a couple of videos with some of the receipts on Witsit's objections. So let me ask you broadly, before we dive into the 10 questions, why Witsit?
I my first conversation with him was in EA probably about 2 years ago. And I'd been gone from Flat Earth, hadn't been paying really hardly any attention to it for about 5 years. So, little videos here and there, but I had never heard of him or seen him. And I heard him and a couple other people talking about the Maui fires. And they were saying stuff that, I had been looking into it pretty extensively and was kind of went in and corrected some of them. And that did not go over well with him. And pretty much, immediately I thought he was a Glober because the way he was like attacking me and like cutting me off and just, that's, no offense, but that's what my experience with Globers in the past have been like that. So that made him even more upset when I accused him of being a Glober. And then someone was like, you don't know who he is? And I'm like, oh. So that just bruised his ego even more.
Yes.
And then pretty much every time after that, there was 1 or 2 times that we had some like cordial back and forth. I told him about raw milk. And then the next week he was like all about, giving health advice out of nowhere when he had like, I don't know. He just seemed very, fake to me and disingenuous and very controlling and all of the things that I don't like in personality types. So we clashed pretty much immediately. And he was, I actually made my Maui video. I hadn't made a video in like 5 years either. So I made the Maui video, the first one, to show him what I was talking about. Instead of going and getting 15 links and, trying to explain it to him, I just made the video and he never, watched it. And it was not surprising and whatever. But, because I was so irritated that he was like, calling me liar basically and being like, oh yeah, let me see it. And I'm like, fine, I'll go make a video right now. Like, what's up? So it's kind of like he tested me. Like he was like, oh, he challenged me, was like, no, you're not going to do this. You're just some nobody with this channel that, no channel and no face and all that stuff. I'm like, dude, I'd made tons of Flat Earth videos back in the day and I did street stuff, like talk to people on the streets and, recorded random conversations at bars. And, I did art shows for Flat Earth stuff and did, all kinds of stuff. So I was just like, how can you even say that without knowing me like at all? Like it was very off-putting. So I immediately kind of like, I don't know, I just didn't like him right off the bat. He's a punk for sure.
I have a similar experience the first time I saw him on like a Flat Earth debate. And also the first couple of times he showed up to the after shows, I will always challenge him from like, "Oh, you're here. That's fun." But yes, he inspires that in all people, it would seem.
I actually heard you in there last week with him, and I thought you made some pretty good points. And and it reminded me, you know, the way everyone kind of attacked you right when you came in and were like trying to make fun of your voice and be like, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there was at one point where I jumped in and I was trying to like not necessarily defend you, but point out that you had made a good point, and I don't think you took it the right way. Like,
no, yes, I'm sorry.
no,
I
it's
do
okay.
apologize for that.
You didn't
But
know me, I didn't know you. It was all good, but I definitely
in,
appreciated the points you were making in there for sure.
in my defense, I don't. I kind of wanted my hands on Witsit. I was trying to avoid other people jumping in, and I didn't.
Yeah,
I
I
ended
totally get that. It's
up
all
doing
good.
it, but yeah, I do. He doesn't know, but I'm way better at talking about that specific thing than him, and he doesn't know that. So, my first question from the actual interviews that I prepared: what
Mhm.
is it about Witsit? We kind of went through that, but besides that, you also go specifically against him for the grifting and the taking advantage part of the community. That's where my headspace was with this question. So,
Yeah.
what is it that about Witsit that makes you want to like face him?
Um, well, you know, it kind of goes back to FE Core. I was very much against FE Core back in I think 2017 was when I started getting booted out of their communities, and they're not communities, but they're like chats and side chats and different things that they had, and getting banned from, you know, just for asking questions. And back then, like, you know, kind of like Witsit, like I wasn't gonna troll him, but he like created the troll, you know, like kind of like the FE Core people. They create the trolls. Like they do it to themselves by banning people and blocking people and just you know, raising money for stuff that they don't follow through on. And I mean, I lost count of how many, and now when you try to go look it up, all their stuff is scrubbed, their videos are deleted, like they were trying to
Right.
cover their tracks. So, you know, on my intuition back then, you know, was spot on. And then with this guy too, like he's taking over the FE Core position, you know, like he was brought in by Bob, the head of FE Core. He, you know, all of the stuff that he's doing and promoting is like just falling right in line with exactly what they did, like rinse and repeat every 5 years. They're just gonna, you know, new group of people comes in, new, you know, scams, new whatever, and it's like, you know, unless you go on the Wayback Machine, which I did find some old Jaren's videos on No 24-Hour Sun in Antarctica on the way back, proving that, because he was trying to say that Dubé was the one that was pushing that, but it was actually Jaren that was pushing that more than anybody. He did multiple like really long live streams on it. And you know, so like if you can find stuff there, then cool, but you know, most of the stuff has been scrubbed for the most part. So it's hard to even, you know, unless you have those recordings from back then to prove it. And they know that. So they're like, oh, prove it. And it's like, okay, well, whatever. Just like, I can't prove what you're doing with your money, but I know that we're not seeing the telemetry data. I know we're not seeing, you know, your chest cam footage and all this stuff that you're claiming, you know, telling the community you're going to put out and not doing, you know?
The telemetry data, that is the pictures from the GoPro that have like the GPS location and so on, right? He didn't
Yeah.
want to release that
He's
because
been
that has
talking about,
its address.
yeah, well, he had $150 donated towards the telemetry data extraction program apparently, and he still needed $250 more for it. And so then once he got that, he was like, oh, it has my I'm like, how could you not figure out that it has your address before all of that? Like, I don't know, but whatever. Anyways, now he's moved, you know, he's been gone now for over a month. I thought maybe 2 months now he's been moved. So that's why I hit him up, you know, right when I found out he was moving. I was like, oh, you're gonna drop that telemetry data now? And he's like, yeah. And every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, I'll do it later, oh, tomorrow, oh, whatever. But it still hasn't happened. And you know, my beef with him with that was there was somebody that reached out, and that was one of his followers that had been you know, following him for years and giving him money for years, and was like, I gave him 250, he didn't even give me a thank you. Then I asked him, you know, hey, since you didn't use it, can I get that back? Because he was like, I knew that he got more money than that or whatever. And then was like, you know, the fact that he didn't respond is what made him the most pissed off about it, basically. And was like, I was trying to donate to the North Carolina fund, because that's, all the flooding stuff was happening. And he wanted to donate it there. And the fact that Witsit didn't even, respond to him, he was like, go ahead and share my story. Like most of the stories that I have is stuff like that, where people reach out to me and are like, I had this happen. I saw this. They send me screenshots of the Telegram. Every time I ask Witsit for certain pictures, he claims that he posted it in Telegram. And I'm like, dude, I can't find that. Like, I'm going to scroll up 8 months ago through your Telegram. Like, yeah, right. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just post that on your YouTube or on your public accounts, if whatever, So yeah,
It's hard. He's slippery, and you even see it when you're watching his stream. Someone that was saying that they ordered from the health whatever that he has on, the one that is a website that is just the buy link, and it doesn't have anything else.
Yeah,
I think that might be it. Yes.
Well, and he said something about how that flopped or something. And I'm like, oh, so are they out of business? And he's like, no, you can still get it. But like, I don't know. He wouldn't elaborate on it, obviously, when I did ask him to elaborate on what he means by that. But God. That's not surprising either.
Oh, my God.
He's very good at avoiding stuff, avoiding direct questions.
He will talk about everything except what it's meant. Icy Spin for $1.99 says, body slam the like button, Holmes. Thank you, Icy Spin. So how long have you been following the Witsit saga and being kind of suspicious and so on?
Well, I first talked to him 2 years ago. I was suspicious of him pretty much right off the bat. I kind of got sidetracked into other topics and listening to other people. And then a few months, like I want to say like maybe 6 months before he went to Antarctica, we had a pretty heated discussion, that, I forget I think it was about FE core and the grifts and stuff. And he freaked out. And then when they started promoting for TFE, I was like, oh, this is going to be a shit show. Like right off the bat, I knew there was going to be, drama and issues and whatever. So, but yeah, I didn't start really going in on him until I saw everything roll out the way that it did. The constant lies, and I was recording stuff and just putting it as unlisted on my channel because like I would send it to a friend of mine and just be like, haha, listen to this, so I'm glad that I did that, because I had like an arsenal of shit already saved just from like as stuff was rolling out, and then when he started, like, once again, he created the troll. He started calling me out, like saying, oh, you're a nobody, you don't even show your face, and I'm like, dude, if you look at my channel, like I did used to show my face back in the day, like I have, like now I didn't have a profile picture up of me in Discord or anything, but like, he like was trying to say that like it's some insult, like you're not going to do it, you're not going to say anything, you're just some little nobody, like, just talking down on me like he does to people. And I'm like, okay, you want to test me, bro? Like, all right, here, I'll pull out my arsenal. And then like I started getting more and more people that paying attention. And a friend sent me that the Spitgate stuff where he basically spit on his wife, and that's the one that got me, like, all of a sudden I went from 300 subs to like 1,000 overnight, and then basically then he started paying attention. Then he started talking shit, and I was like, oh, I thought I was a nobody. I thought I wasn't worth your time, and I'm not going to do anything. And here I am doing something, showing you like you can't just talk to people like that and think that they're like not going to call you out on shit and not going to like put you in your place. Like, I don't know. I just didn't like his attitude towards not just me, towards anybody that came in that made good points. And he couldn't just be a mature adult most of the time. It was like he always went and then he would accuse everybody else of throwing low jabs out there when he's the one. I'm like, dude, I heard you. And I found myself sticking up for Globers more than anything, because I'm like, dude, I'm listening to this and it's making me mad, because I want to hear a good debate. I want to hear a good conversation. And if you're just going to put everybody down and accuse them of cutting you off when you're the one cutting them off, like over and over again, like it comes down to like the same thing that happened with FE Core. Like I found like myself siding with the Globers more than the Flat Earthers a lot, just based on like pure, like maturity level, or just just the conversation, like, I'm like, dude, this is
Right.
very dishonest. Like, even though I don't agree with them, like, I disagree with the way that you're being treated. And I just, I don't know. I feel like we found common ground back then. Like, there was a bunch of us that, were in a side chat. It was Globers, it was flat earthers, concavers, whoever, we didn't care. But our main goal was to call out the grifters and the liars and the bullshitters. And that's what they didn't want, was for us to like come together and be like, okay, yeah, we all might not agree, but like, what you guys are doing is obviously bullshit, and obviously like something that, I don't know, some weird cult, some weird something going on. Like it's, I don't know.
It becomes about other stuff, but when you're directly grifting the community with with a half-finished website and selling whatever bullshit, that is just a little step too far for me, at least.
Yeah.
When it comes to his many abuses of the flat earth community, which one do you think it's the most egregious?
I'd say the gaslighting, because I can, like, it's one thing if you're gonna grift, but like, be a man and admit that you're that you're doing it. Be like, so what? I gotta pay bills. Like, I'd have more respect for him if he was like, hey man, I got bills. Yep, I totally, used that money to do this, and I didn't have telemetry data or something. Like, I've had friends in the past that, I didn't agree with what they were saying, but I appreciated their honesty, and if he was actually just like straight up about his financial issues and like, this is what's happening, then I'd probably be like, oh, okay, he's a
Right?
real person. But it's the lying and the gaslighting and then saying I never said that. And that's what pisses me
Oh
off the
my.
most.
Well, that is, yes, he's tried that one with me, but it doesn't work because I remember what you said.
Exactly. And I got to record it half the time. So.
Yes. Yes. To me, for me, it's that he thinks he's so much smarter than he actually is. And he also thinks he's a bully. So that kind of takes me wrong two ways at the same time. It's like, no, you're not smart. And also, no, you're not a bully.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up and listen to me.
Yeah. And
that's what I get.
Yeah, I agree. And it's not only that, it's like the way that he like he plays the victim card so hard.
Right?
Like, and I'm just like, dude, like, shut up and grow a pair, like, come on. Like, we all have issues, we all have families, we all have stuff. And I don't believe for a second that he's getting death threats and all this crazy stuff. I'm like, dude, where are your receipts for that? Like, show me, or I'm not believing it. Like, oh, he's like, I filed reports, let's see the report. Like, I don't believe it until I see the report. And you can block out your name, block out your address, whatever it is that you're, but he's the one that put his name, and it talks about what town he lives in and talks about this and that. And like, he's like basically doxing himself, which, I mean, I don't know, like the fact that he tried to blame me for doxing him when I purposely blacked out all the information before I posted, but it's public information. So technically, like, even though he wants to claim he can sue me and this and that, like, that would be, pretty funny if that actually didn't just get thrown out or something. Like, that would be a pretty hilarious live stream court case. Like, the judge, if he tried to pull some of the shit with the judge that he pulls in Discord, oh man, I would love to see that.
Have you read his Court of Appeals brief and their response?
No.
On the whole Mount Rushmore thing.
No.
Oh my God, he appealed by himself, and then they get back to him like, yeah, this is nonsense. No appeal. It's a gorgeous set of documents awesome. from the Mount Rushmore case. It's so good. How has been your experience with pushing back on Witsit in his own little echo chamber?
Oh man, it's a total shit show. Like I'm not gonna lie, I hate the way I sound. When I had to go back and clip out stuff from him, I was like cringing at myself, even just because I'm like I hate when I get like that. But I'm like, but you push me so far. Like I'm a bull. I'm like a Taurus, right? I'm stubborn. I'm like, oh, test me, bro, test me, and I give energy that I'm given right back, and I know sometimes like I, but at the same time I had to post it because I'm like, no one's gonna believe me how it goes down. You have to hear it for yourself, like you have to hear how it starts, how it evolves, and how he comes in and just straight like lies through his teeth about what I said and what was going on and what, just like there's no amount of me explaining. It's just, you know, even though it didn't really put me in the best light, I don't really care because people need to see what he's, you know, what he's about, what he does, and this is his tactics. So, you know,
Oh yeah.
be prepared, you know, and this is what happens when you go into his server. Cause that's, I mean, I really think of it as his server. He runs it. He ran it during TFE when he wasn't there. His wife was in there running shit. Like, you know, every time that anybody would say anything, all of a sudden that one of them would pipe up, shut it down, mute you, tell you, you know, whatever. And to be fair, Gio's gotten better. Like there was a time that happened. I was calling out the Ether Cause guys and they were muting me, and Gio stepped in and was like, hey, no, you can't just do that. This is my server. Like I was actually blown away that he stood up for me like that. And so props to him for, like, you know, putting them in their place at that moment in time, but that still doesn't take away from all of the times that it just, you know, happened, and it would be 5-on-1, you know, just them, like they're all mods. So I'm like, what are you guys modding each other? Like, how does this work? Like, can you guys mute each other or not? Like, I don't even know. I've never been a mod in one of these places. So I don't even know if you can mute another mod or if they can just unmute themselves, or I'm not sure. But
both, yeah, depending on, you know, the permission levels, you can have mods that can mute each other but also unmute themselves and so on, and so yeah, it depends. Geo has got better, but the other day there was one just like completely spiraling out saying, don't even talk to this guy, and I was just like crushing them left and right, and then the guy was just like pure copium, like, don't even talk to this guy. And then some other derplings and so on. But they all jump if you challenge Witsit. It's like, no, you have to go through me first. They want to score some BFF points.
Right? No, that's really what it is. They stick up for each other like so hard. Like all of them, they're like who can, it's like a competition of who can like kiss Witsit's ass the hardest, you know? Like,
yes.
Like it's embarrassing. I'm like, do you guys hear yourself? Like I don't know, man. And then how they all are like, I'm next. No, I'm next. No, I'm next. Like they call next, like they're it's in school or something, you know, like it's so cringy. Like they fight over, you know, no, I was supposed to go next. You were supposed to let me go, you know? It's like, fuck guys, just chill. And like when that Tony guy came in and was like, wait, you were supposed to come back with this video 2 days ago. And I was like, oh, take a number. You know, like I'm surprised that I wasn't muted even then, you know, like there's times that I say shit that I'm shocked that but the thing is that I've called it out so many times now. Like they used to mute me more, and then now that I've like spoken out and I have like my channel is doing a little better and I got more attention, they're like, no, you can't mute her because then it proves her point. So it's like making them even more upset because they don't want to, like, you know, they don't want me to prove that I was right. And yeah,
they created their own worst enemy. I like that.
Yeah, they created the trolls for sure.
And there is something that I think, because I think that because of some of the stuff he said in the past, I think that Witsit thinks that women are less than men. So,
yeah,
have you how have you felt like being a strong woman, like daring to confront him, because they kind of share that?
There's a few.
Yeah.
There's
so
a
how
few
has
guys.
your experience been with that?
Yeah, there's definitely a few guys that are like that. Like it's a common kind of trait or whatever within, I feel like, his group. There's a few, like I feel like Gio is kind of the opposite at times. Like I've heard him white knight for chicks before that, where I'm like, dude, why are you white knighting for this chick? She sounds crazy, you know? Like,
right?
Because to me, it shouldn't matter. Like it doesn't matter what sex, whatever. Like I mean, yeah, obviously, you know, you should give just as much respect to a woman than a man, and vice versa. It shouldn't matter, you know. But for some reason, like that first time I talked to that Elisha guy, I don't know if that's his name, but that's what I call it.
I know him. Yes, redhead guy with a beard. He hates.
Oh, is he a redhead? I don't know.
Yes,
I've never seen him.
Yes.
There's a lot of gingers out here. It's funny. Like Witsit was like, oh, it's because you have a crush on me. I'm like, bro, you look like you could be my brother. Like that would be like some incest looking shit. Like I don't do the, like, I'm not and it's like, it's one thing if it's like somebody with dark hair because they're more common, but redheads aren't very common. So like if I were to date another redhead, that would just look fucking weird, you know? So anyways, the fact that he said that, though, I was like, oh wow, you're so full of yourself. You think that this is like some, like, I want to be your friend and I'm upset because you don't want, like, who would, like, that's like the worst pickup line ever. Like, let me make a bunch of videos, you know, pointing out what an asshole you are, and then be like, hey, so what's up? You know, like, I don't know. I just like, that would be the.
But in his head, that's what he sees.
That's what
That
he sees.
is
Yeah,
hilarious.
he's so full of himself. He actually
Yeah.
thinks that I have a crush on him, and I'm just like, I can't help but to laugh at that. But yeah, that Alicia guy. The first time I think I jumped in and asked Witsit a question, he like flew off. I mean, he was like, and one of the first things he said was like, "This is why women and men are. This is a perfect example of why women and men are so different, and you know, women are just so dumb." And just, you know, he's went off on me numerous times, and he hates me with a passion. And I feel like Witsit doesn't want to show that. Like, he's trying to desperately cover that side of him up because he wants, you know, to get another wife, a virgin, apparently, whatever his list
Oh
that
my
he went
God,
down.
yes, I heard that.
That list was hilarious. But yeah, he, you know, I don't know.
The simulation people might have something, because there is definitely a simulation going on in Witsit's head. MC Toon, hello, MC Toon says, happy to see Rusted Soul here. I'm happy too. This is funny.
What up, Toon? I've shared some of his stuff before. I'm like, man, I can't believe I'm like the worst flat earther ever. I'm over here like, you know, like actually agreeing with half of the stuff that you guys say, like not as far as like earth shape and whatever, but personality wise and conversation wise, it's really sad that like how the flat earthers have fallen for compared to 5 years ago. I feel like there was really good. There was this one, what was the first? It was the first debate channel I remember listening to was Baller Skeptic Roundtable with John the Bon. And that was, I want to say it started in probably 2014 or so, 2015. And it was really good, like really well done, you know, structured, that people were respectful, information was concise, everybody, you know, it was a good show, you know. And I think he maybe did like 15 episodes and then stopped or whatever. But you know, I wish, like, I miss the old flat earth that wasn't so, you know, like didn't hate so much against each other. I feel like it was a better time for, you know, and I know everybody says that, like, oh, back in my day, you know, like whatever. But I mean, that's just what I remember. And I do miss those types of conversations because they're few and far between, I feel like, nowadays.
It's almost impossible to get, you know, a decent flat earth debate nowadays. There are some flat earthers that do shows, but as soon as they see me go in, they kick me out for a few various reasons. Because, you know, someone invented a rumor that I was a hacker. So I kind of had to start messing with them. Like, okay, you think I'm a hacker? Okay.
I just heard the other day that the Upward people think, or there's a rumor going around that I was the one porn bombing Dell in 2016 or whatever, which I don't even think I had a computer back then. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on my phone, you know, porn bombing while I'm like sewing at work, like not like, because I used to just listen to stuff. I couldn't even go in the chat half the time back then, but I was somehow porn bombing. Yeah, okay, makes sense.
Yes, they love to invent just stuff. What have some of the broader flat Earth community's response been to your challenge of the Golden Boy?
I mean, some of them leave comments on my videos, but I think a lot of them just try to avoid me, and I think that's why that whole issue blew up the other day, was because one of his fanboys, who I guess hasn't been paying attention for the past year and a half or whatever, it was like, why are you saying that? I don't understand. And then I start breaking it down to him, and he's like, no way, you need to bring receipts. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll bring some receipts. Here you go. And I haven't gotten a response from him. I sent him the video directly and was like, no response. But at least they're not deleting. I used to post the videos in Geos and it would get deleted like immediately.
Right.
So, but since that happened and since I called that out, like I watched it and I was like, oh, they're not deleting it. That's amazing. So they didn't. They actually let it ride, this last video that I posted. So I didn't post the
Yeah.
one from today yet in there. So I guess it depends on who's in there too, and how much up Witsit's ass they are that day or whatever, and who's looking at the chat or all that.
The other day that the second day, because I have one of those, I was going to go live and I saw that he was there. So I went in, I talked to him, and then I continue on to doing the video review. But I love doing Witsit video reviews of his stream from the time that we saw him with the blouse, the mesh blouse.
Dude, the lace.
Yes.
So bad.
And I was like, is it only me that I'm seeing that? And everyone, as soon as they came in to the stream, like a couple of minutes later, like, why is Witsit wearing a blouse? Everyone.
And you could tell it was there was no fabric behind it. Like every time he'd move his arm, you could see like the black, and I'm like, oh man. I mean, he does live in Florida, so maybe that's like the fashion statement on in the whatever.
Yeah,
but
for someone that says that is fake and gay all the time, Witsit, like, no.
Dude, did you see the one where he looks like he's wearing a dress? There's like a tie-dye Nike like matching like shorts and shirt that he was wearing, that I swear he was wearing a muumuu. And I was like, oh my god, is he getting his wardrobe from like that Will Smith guy's kid or something? Because that's what he looks like.
He's fresh. He's super fresh. That's something he has actually said on stream. Bucks of Buster for $2 says, Arnold is a legend. Yes, he is. Arnold made some AI videos of songs that are very, very funny. Thoughts on TFE in general and TFE plus Witsit in particular?
Well, I think it was fraudulent and flamboyant. I won't say fake and gay. Personally, the football sun. I could go through all of them, but I would be here for a while, so maybe that could be like another stream. But I definitely, I can't say whether or not they all met up in a place that was snowy. Like that could be a thing. I just don't think that they spent the money and went all the way to Antarctica. Like maybe they met up in, some Hollywood Hills studio, and they had some snow maybe up north somewhere, maybe in San Francisco or something. But yeah, I don't usually like to say like exactly what I think it is. I just know what the anomalies and all this stuff with the footage. It's just yeah. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear, but that's how I see it.
I understand. But my thoughts on this is that it's probably connected with like Witsit being, Witsit basically just ruining everything.
No, I would probably think, because I think a lot of stuff is staged out there. So like I call bullshit on like, but then again, like they didn't push it in the mainstream a bunch. So, that actually gives it a little bit of credence, because it wasn't like, he didn't go on who's that girl? Candace Owens. Like he kept saying, I'm going on Candace Owens, and that never happened. So yeah. I'm thinking, not that he hasn't been on other bigger channels like that Stu Peters, and who's that other guy? Not Alex Jones, but one of his little like sidekicks or whatever.
Yes, it was on InfoWars with Harrison.
Yeah, just those two things alone make me go, okay, yeah, no, you don't just get on those shows. You don't just get, supposedly he was accepted for some fluoride debate thing, and is getting put on like some documentary that's like the RFK. Like people don't just randomly, especially when you don't have like a background or a history in like health stuff, you're like known as a flat earther, and you do one small debate on fluoride, and now all of a sudden you're in some like Trump documentary about whatever. Like that's such a weird, like, I don't know. I just, there's so many things that surround the whole, and I know that doesn't have anything to do with TFE. But the, guilty by association, that is very much, you're right to say that. Like anything he's going to be involved with, I'm going to question, mainly because of his associations with FE Core. And, it's a very long history of me calling out bullshit on these people. So, you know.
I get that. I just wanted to know, and if you're open, we can talk about that some other time.
Yeah,
Let me
yeah.
read you, however, 2 comments from Thorn.
Okay.
1 second here. Toon said, check out both of the 360 videos. There is no football sun was the first one. And the other one, we intentionally used 2 cameras so the stitch wasn't in the same place for both cameras.
I did notice that about the stitching, and that was one of the things where that the line in the sky that came up, that Winter Patriot guy brought up. People kept saying it was where the stitch was, where that line was, but when I found where the stitch was, it was like I'm guesstimating like 30 feet or so to the left of the camera, and the line came up like, you know, not right there. So to me, I'm like, okay, well, that takes the stitch away. So what is this random 90 degree angle doing right here? You know, that's, I don't know. I don't know enough about camera stuff to be like, you know, an expert. I never claim to be an expert. I just, the same way that we've been pointing out stuff with NASA and stuff with you know, a lot of other anomalies and other false flags and things like that. Don't really add up to me. I put stuff through the AI detection software. I thought that was pretty interesting. You know, but like I said, I'm not a pro on any of it. So, you know, if people want to school me on some stuff and whatever, I'm happy to have a conversation about it. I did a lot, go back and forth in the comments with a lot of people, and I saved everything the same way so that there wasn't like, oh, well, you saved this wrong, so that's why this came up. And I even did like a part 2 showing, you know, that like, because people were saying, oh, it's because it was a 360 camera. So I went and found other 360 cameras to compare it to off of YouTube, saved the same way, and they didn't come up as flagged in any way. So, you know, there's things that I can't explain with my logic, you know, and yeah.
Okay. How long have you been in the Flat Earth community in total?
2014 was when I started like getting into it, watching videos. I was avoiding it for probably like 6 months before I just thought it sounded stupid. And you know, but I'd been down so many other rabbit holes. I was like, I'll check it out and see what these flat earthers have to say. But I saw the thing that kept deterring me from clicking on it was Mark Sargent and I thought it was a History Channel thing because it looked like a professional picture. He had this little hat on. I think there was like pyramids behind him or something. Like he looked like he was like on safari or something, you know. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't want to watch another like Ancient Aliens or whatever, because that's what was popular or coming out at that time or whatever. And and so he was like I didn't see him first. He's not who like made me, you know. I think it was Math Powerland that was doing like stand up, but then the more I watched from Math Powerland, I'm like, dude, this guy's crazy. Like he's like talking to the helicopters, like, you see this chopper up here? He's been following me. He's like in the middle of the desert, looking like a meth head and stuff, and and like petting goats, wearing like an orange 33 shirt, and like all the things that like, you know. And then Dubé like dresses up as a chick and is like, you know, as Patty, and is doing all this weird cringy stuff. And it's like they purposely were trying to make Flat Earth look crazy and stupid like from the get-go. So you know, I've been like the Flat Earth reject for pretty much since the get-go and been pissing them off forever. But it still doesn't mean that I don't think that the earth is flat. I just think that they're all shills and that they're, you know, controlled opposition, trying to lead people, trying to make stuff look bad, spreading lies, spreading things that aren't true. Like, you know, that's yeah, what I take away from.
Interesting. That would be a conspiracy within the conspiracy.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like I call them Battle of the Lodges. Every time they'd be like, "Oh, whose side are you gonna pick?" I'm like, "Whose lodge am I gonna pick?" Because they're all part of some. The one thing that they all agreed on, which is the suspect thing for me, is they all agreed that what was it? That Flat Earth Society was the shill site, right? So they all were like, no,
Okay.
Flat Earth Society, upward, or they push upward Earth, or that the Earth is moving upward. How ridiculous. Oh my gosh. And they would always clown on it. And that's the one thing they all agreed on. And for a while, I ignored it and I didn't look at it. And it worked. The brainwashing worked. I was like, yeah, that does sound really crazy. Like, whatever. But then now I'm like, you're looking at the actual site and it they have a lot of really good links, a lot of scientific studies, a lot of good conversations. They have, more so than FE Core or any of them have brought to the table. And now apparently there's two sites. There's the FE Society, the original one, and then there's a FE Society that I think like FE Core like made on their own to try to deter people away from it. So now when people go and look at it, they see, oh, we don't think the Earth is going up or whatever. And so people say that they retracted it, but there's two sites. So when you look it up, their site comes up first. And the original site is like, 7 things down the line or whatever of stuff to click on. So, I mean, the whole thing that they're pushing about that, like, I'm glad that I finally, Jason's the one that introduced me to the upward Earth idea. And that really, it really got me because I'm like, dude, for so many years, like I didn't even see it. It was like right in front of my face. And there's all these good conversations happening that aren't on YouTube, that aren't, with all these shilly people. And, and you could tell that it was their site because they were promoting, Mark Sargent and all the like shill channels, but they weren't, talking about the stuff that like the actual community was talking about, if that makes sense. So,
Jason, as in Ronnie and Jason?
No, Jason from Upward or Rising Earth is his YouTube channel, and he posts a lot of like physics related videos and stuff, talking about like redshift and just the whole upward topic in general, which there's been kind of like a debate in the upward world. So the upward people hate me too. Like everyone hates, I'm like literally the flat earth reject because, we think it's accelerating. They think it's a constant. I'm like, well,
Right.
we've done a lot of videos on it, and
I've seen that guy, the one that goes to universities.
Yeah, William. Yeah.
William, yes. And I challenge him to a debate and I go banned.
Yeah, he doesn't, he won't even talk to us when we're rising earthers. He refuses to talk to us. Like, oh my gosh, we've done a lot of videos on him though too, because he talks a lot of shit. He'll say shit in his video about us, but then won't just talk directly to us. It's like, it's very strange. I don't understand it. But yeah, we've been trying to talk to him for a minute, and just, it would be easier than just making videos about each other back and forth, but he won't respond. So you can't, make somebody talk to you. So
Right. Icy Spin shares and we're going to get to the Q&A. We have a couple more questions to finish up the interview. Do you have any thoughts on Dave Weiss's leaky app? Are you on?
Yeah, no, definitely not on it. And I definitely think it's super shady that he hasn't addressed it. And I mean, he's been like, when I make jokes about people being like on Weiss's payroll, I think he's kind of like the boss of everybody. I'm sure he has higher ups and everything too, but I remember years ago, I want to say it was like maybe 2016, Weiss had Jaren like promoting Boss Baby, that movie that like, that was like a DreamWorks or Pixar, one of those.
Yes.
And he was promoting Boss Baby. And I'm like, and it was from Weiss though. So that's when I started thinking, oh, I bet you Weiss is like the guy who like the boss who tells everybody whatever, like gotta earn them Weiss bucks. It's like one of the things that I say about him. And I'm sure there's other people above him, but I thought that was really weird and random that they would be promoting, like they'd always have weird random stuff like that, where I'm like, okay, so now we're promoting kids movies on Flat Earth shows.
That is a little bit weird.
Super random.
But, I mean, if they want to promote animated movies, I don't see the harm. Some of the other stuff that
it could be worse.
it's way worse.
Yeah. But every time I think of Weiss, I think of that Boss Baby, because he was like really talking to every time, like he'd talk about it all the time. It was really weird. And yeah, the app, I'm really glad that I never, I mean, I haven't liked Weiss for the longest time, ever since I first saw him making videos. Something about his voice, something about the way that he was, like it just didn't sit well with me. So I never really followed him or got into any of his stuff. And the more that, like, you know, things were revealed, like when the TFE stuff happened and how he was kind of like flip flopping, and like one second he was like, oh, you're anti-truthers, and the next second he was, you know, that was weird to me. And you know, if anybody makes an app and is, you know, apparently he's rich, right? Like he's had money way before, so he doesn't need the app to like make money or whatever. So why wouldn't he change that and, you know, make it secure or whatever? Like, especially after knowing, like that's I don't know, some Fed shit right there.
He's gone on to say that yeah, it's a nothing burger and so on. So he really doesn't care.
Just trust him, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's because MC Toon blew the whistle on that, or but I mean, there seems to have been repercussions over the app security leaks, because one of the rumors is that Witsit got hacked because of that, and there's no way I can get confirmation of that.
Yeah,
but I've heard it multiple times.
If he did, then like I don't know. I tend to think that that's just another one of his like tall tales of how he's being attacked or something, you know, like, okay.
That is also true.
Like playing the victim, like, oh, I got hacked, blah, 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 like by your own friend or whatever. I don't know.
Right.
It's hard for me to believe anything that comes from these people. That's why, like, I sounded, you know, like, you know, I don't know, harsh on Witsit. It's because this is like years of you know, hearing him lie through his teeth and just being fed up, you know, and not believing. Like if you hear somebody lie enough times and they start telling you, oh, I got pictures of my house and this and that, I'm like, okay, show me the picture. Then you don't live there anymore. There should be no reason why you can't show me the proof, because I believe nothing that comes from your mouth now, you know.
The first time that I went to argue with him on EA, the time that I snapped back at you a little bit, I'm sorry.
Okay.
That day, some people here were telling me like, "Oh, you were a little bit mean to Witsit and so on." It's like, yeah, you can't not do that, because otherwise he will just ramble and ramble and ramble. Yeah, he didn't understand the question and he didn't even answer. And
he doesn't answer. Yeah, he doesn't answer any of the questions. He always just changes the topic, answers something else, brings up something that you did, and it's very tiresome.
Yes, and he also cries fallacies, but commits the same fallacies. You have to stay on your feet, and he will do it to you if you don't do it to him. So you know, it's a debate thing. All right, final question, and you might keep it as brief or as long as you want. It won't turn into a debate. I just want to know, what would it take to convince you that the Earth is a globe?
Well, I would need a better explanation as to why we measure an upward acceleration, because that one's been like the biggest one for me for the past year and a half, is like, how would that work on a globe? You know, like it would have to be, you know, expanding, like, or a concave would be closing in on itself. And I know they say bendy space and everything, but that just seems like an excuse. Like, if you can bend space, then you should be able to unbend space. And how can you prove that that's what's causing or not what's causing, but that's, you know, somehow what's making it work? Like, it doesn't make sense to me that, you know, if we measure a measurement, everybody's into, you know, to science, right? We're all into like measuring things. And if an accelerometer shows us that there's an upward, you know, something, I can't tell you what's making it go upward, how fast, or how, you know, like, you know, because we don't know. We can't leave the frame to be able to tell. So it's kind of like, it's a mystery, but to me, it doesn't make sense on a globe or on a concave model. So that's pretty much the thing that's holding me to flat Earth more than anything these days.
All right, fair enough. Now I want to thank you. This was so much fun. Do you have any saved anecdotes? Anything else you would like to talk about before we get into some questions from the people in the audience?
No, I think we're good. Yeah.
All right. So the first one. The first one comes with a little visual aid. These are two other, I would say, grifters. They are of the SVBR model of Earth. It's the supernatural virtual reality model, and it's a flat Earth model with two poles.
Oh, the
But what
dual pole.
the dual pole,
Yeah.
yes. But they also add the supernatural VR, which but they're a fun bunch. But Icy Spin asks, out of these two guys, what hair products do you think they use? Because
um,
I asked them the question and got immediately blocked from their channel for asking that question.
who are those guys? I don't even know.
Those are the SBBR kings, the
Oh,
real, the number one flat earthers. Did you see the final debate? That
no. Oh, is that that was it Jason
Yes,
and
those are
something?
Ronnie and Jason.
Ronnie and Jason, that's what it was. Yeah. Oh man, I remember them from years ago, and they were a piece of work back then. So I can only imagine how they've devolved since then. I'd say hair product. I don't know, maybe like engine oil or something. I have no idea. But I did not listen to I like I have a lot going on in my life, so I try the things that I've been trying to focus on. Like I find myself getting sucked into the flatter stuff too much, and then I have to take a break for a little bit because I'm like, all right, it needs to be balanced. I need to do real life stuff also, and not just so yeah. But as far as like I never even listened to the Witsit Jaren debate either, because like I don't like either of them. So why would I even like subject myself to that?
Oh, that was so good. That was excellent. If you
Was
like some, yes, if you like some witty destruction.
That's what, okay, so there's a on the video that I just posted today, the last part of it, I showed some clips of him getting annihilated by what's his name? Adam Green. It was pretty good. I don't know if you've seen that conversation debate, whatever it was. It was from a couple years
No.
ago. It's if you want to watch the whole thing, it's on his channel called Zionism Part 2 with Adam Green. And it's funny. Like, it is
Oh
good.
my.
He does not know. This is the video I saw a year and a half ago that made me realize that he's LARPing as a Christian. I don't think he's a real Christian.
Oh,
Because
really?
he doesn't know his own shit. Like, this dude
Yes,
just handed it to him.
100%.
And he was just like agreeing with him half the time, not defending. Like, this is what made a lot of the Christian flat earthers realize that he's full of shit, was this video. So I if he takes it down, because I've just posted it, like, and so far all the things that I've made videos on, like his RV video and the videos with Kai, that he took all of those down after I like posted clips from him. So now I'm like bummed that I don't have the video in its entirety to just repost it to piss him off. But like that's why I recorded this one in its entirety. So if he does take it down, I have it and I will repost it. But it's too good.
Right.
It's funny for sure. But yeah,
I have a personal favorite clip from Witsit, and
okay.
I'll share it to you because it's so freaking good.
School, you did math and you could pass the test and not have to write the answers down. So why don't you tell me, how would you integrate this? What would be the proper way to integrate this?
No, dude, Ryan, why are you not moderating? Do you see that all the guy is doing is intentionally?
Ryan!
Wait, what's that, Ryan? Did he yell for somebody named Ryan or something at some point?
Yes, the moderator.
Oh.
Yes. So he got asked. This is Daryl, and Daryl walked him on a leash the whole debate. And
so he
and
never
that
did
was, no.
he never did the math, because he
No.
has bragged about that many times. He should definitely.
That's what I was doing the other day, because he brags about having an aptitude for math, But every time that you take him, okay, let's do the math, he will run away. He will run away every single time. No failures.
Dude, that's bullshit. Like, why isn't the moderator like, yo, just do the math real quick, bro? Like, show us that you know.
Yes.
Like they should do the same thing to Alan and Shane, because like I feel like that shit.
I was going to ask you and I missed it. Glad you brought it up. So you don't dig the vibe with the blobs either, right? Am I getting that
The
correctly?
blobs? I'm
The
not
blobs,
sure.
yes. Alan and Shame.
Oh no. That's what you call them, the blobs.
The blobs, yes. That's what I call them. Or if you want to refer to them as a group, it's the ether, the apologists.
No, I got booted from their server, I don't know, probably about a year
How
ago.
fast?
Well, I was in there for a while, but I wasn't active in there or like anything. But the second that I started, like, oh no, you know what? Actually, I wasn't even active in there. We made a video about them, and then I looked one day and I was like, oh, I'm booted from the server, but I was never even, in there. It was never like, I think I jumped in a couple times and listened, like in the early, probably like a year and a half ago when I first, was coming back and was like, oh, I knew him from a long time ago, and he was like, oh, these ether guys, they know their shit, and you got to join and listen. And I tried to listen sometimes, and one of the first times I went into their room, this girl Kat was in there, and she was trying to describe her model, and it was like, a cone shape, and Shane could not like picture a cone. Like, he was like, I don't understand. She's like an ice cream cone, like a cone, and he wasn't like even understanding like the most basic of shapes. And I'm like, dude, how is it that New P is talking about this guy like he's so smart? And it took like literally 10 minutes of her drawing on a piece of paper a cone and showing him and being like, this is what I'm talking about. And he still wasn't like, I don't know. I pretty much like lost respect for him that day. And then after that, seeing, one thing after another of the celestial theodolites, like what are they on, like part like, 100 now of that shit?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm like, I don't understand how they don't understand, like the questions that I've had for them in there. Like I'm surprised that Gio stood up for me the one time, but I'm like, what do you even need to be making observations for if you're just, if you're just going to change where the observer is, and then you're going to, like take away refraction when you're admitting that there is refraction. Like none of the things that there's, like I did a whole series with Jason on it, like breaking down, showing clips.
And your confrontation of them, and you get it muted, all the cheerleaders with their pompons. Yeah, I did see that. It's funny. Jesse, our friend Jesse, Path of Light, has been a thorn also on their side with that.
John's brought up some good points too, I feel like. And that's what's the crazy part, is that I never thought that I would be like agreeing with Globers on points that they're making, years ago. But I don't see it as like a good argument, and I don't even understand how they see it as a good argument, like how they don't see their own contradictions in what they're claiming and what they've claimed in the past. Like I just, it's the shit show, really. And anybody that follows them is just like, they don't understand. And not saying that I even understand half of the word salad that comes out of their mouths, but I've paid like really close attention. I've watched a lot of, enough of their presentations, and I'm like, okay, if you can't understand your own whatever you're trying to push, your own demonstration, and you can't explain it in like, a decent amount of time, like 5 minutes or something, 5-10 minutes, then like in like layman's terms, then you don't understand what you're even talking about, and he even admitted that after attacking everybody, saying, you don't understand. And then he's like, oh, I just barely understood why Jesse has been saying this, and that. And I'm like, wait, you didn't understand this whole time? You've been calling him a liar, saying that he doesn't understand, but you're admitting right now that this whole time you haven't even understood, and this is your argument? Like, what is happening?
They're bizarre. And my first brush with them was when Shame started claiming his model that he stole, and I had a couple of friends show me how to review the code, and I was like, yeah, this is the same, like this is stolen. That is shameful. And
Yeah.
from there, it was like, yeah, no, don't like them.
Yeah.
Brenda, for $2, says, have your views changed over the years?
Um, yeah, I mean, like I now believe that we're moving upward. That's definitely a big change, you know.
Okay.
But as far as like the I pretty much since 2016, 17 have thought that it was it's been rolled out. Obviously, like there's a conspiracy within the conspiracy, like these people were put into place, for a reason, and now all those same people are flipping and being just as dishonest and weird as ever. And so I guess parts of me have changed, but for the most part, I still do think that it's flat, just minus the stationary part.
All
But
right.
but then again, like with the way that optics work, like I used to say stuff like, oh well, show me the curve, but like it depends on if it's a cloudy or rainy day or what. You know what I mean? Like all the optics change day to day, so you might not be able to see something. Like that was a big argument that I had, was like, oh, I can see this, but not every day can you see that. Sometimes, depending on the the environment. And I don't, I never really denied the existence of refraction, but like I did think that that was like a cop out. Like they always, oh, it's just refraction, it's just refraction. It's like, yeah, but I think it's a circular argument. I don't think that we're ever gonna really truly know. And I'm interested in the topic, but I'm not like so diehard, like offended by people who want to, like, well, if you want to try and prove it wrong, then let's see what you have, but I'm not going to be like, over here crying because somebody called me a dumb flat earther or something, like to me, like it's, I'm seasoned in that. I don't, it is what it is. Like, I try to look at things from both perspectives. And I'm all for having the conversation. And if I'm proven wrong, then I'll be the first to say, yeah, you know what? Maybe there's more evidence pointing towards the globe now. I'd be the first to say that. But so far from what I've seen, I haven't. And especially now with the, like, if I didn't like discover the whole upward, not that I discovered it, I shouldn't say that, but like, was introduced to the whole upward motion thing, I think I probably, maybe would have listened more to the other side, because they were nicer to me. Like if I'm just going off of the way that I've been treated, like I've been treated with more respect, I feel like by Globers, like when I get into conversations versus like, in my early days, the Globers would attack. But then once I started seeing like the bullshit within the FE stuff and started pointing that out, like it was like immediately, but you know what I mean? Like immediate banning, this and that. And like, so far just from listening in, like there's some Globers that do get under my skin that, I've heard and I'm like, oh my gosh, that, this guy, whatever. But for the most part, a lot of times they're egged on, and like Galatrax or somebody will come in and be like, blah, 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 like running his mouth. So it's like, dude, like, what do you expect? Like, and it seems like it's set up to be that circular argument where just they're getting paid to be there or something, just day in and day out, like keeping the conversation going in circles. And, I don't know. It's very tiresome for sure.
Still City says, takes a jab at me and says that I'm just mad he called me on my speech impediment. Yes, Witsit in January did a stream and he was trying to remember who I was, and referred to me as that person with a speech impediment. And no, motherfucker, no, no, just calm down. You have you ever heard the Witsit pronounce preponderance?
No, I don't think I have. But that's what God. Bob used to say that all the time, so it's not surprising that he says that.
Yes, he says the word a lot, but he pronounces it pomponderance every single time. Go back through any video of him, and he says, yes, pomponderance. And he thinks that I have a speech impediment. CK says, not that we agree on the shape of the earth, but you seem super chill and able to have a conversation with anyone. Great interview. Thank you so much, CK.
Oh, thank you.
And compliment for you. It is lovely that, like, if you watch both of our videos when we're talking to Witsit, completely different vibe than here. It's like both just like one after the other. Like, no, you're lying, Witsit. Pay attention. You answer the question and so on. But now we're having a nice chill talk, which it's kind of missing a lot of the time. So thank you, CK. Roger says, can you ask if you would have a conversation with Toon and McKeegan in regards to Antarctica and the footage she has questions about?
Yeah, he did reach out to me and ask if I wanted to have a talk about it, like, I don't know, maybe a couple months ago or like a month ago. And I was like, nah, like I'm good. Mainly because to me, it's like old news. Like I would have to literally go and like rewatch a bunch of stuff and refresh my memory. Cause it's like, I kind of did a bunch of stuff on it, moved on to like 2-3 other topics since then. And plus other topics that I'm interested in on the side that I don't even make videos on. And, I, between work and I mean, I really shouldn't even be spending any time. Like I should be focusing on my in real life stuff that I need to be doing. But sometimes you got to take a break to put someone like Witsit in their place. So, I came out of like my hibernation to like check this dude, but like, I was gone for 5 years and it was a really nice, peaceful 5 years. I'm not going to lie. So, I do, I do a lot of art and I do a lot of different things that take up time. And I like to listen to stuff while I'm working and working on stuff. And I feel like, like I would have a conversation now that I've dredged up a bunch of stuff. The past week that I've been going in on Witsit, I've been looking at all the old points. And so, if I could put together something, it basically like sounded like work to me. I was like, great, now I gotta go like put together a new thing with new stuff and like, whatever. But I'm open to it, and just Toon to me, like, even though he makes good points, like he's still like part of one of the lodges, in my opinion. Like he's like Battle of the Lodges, Globe Edition. He's like I don't know. I don't know what to expect from him. I feel like at any point he could just like all of a sudden, I don't know. Like
no, he's chill like me. If you if you're yourself like this, you will have no problem.
I feel like you're genuine. You have like what 908 subs. Like that's how I know that you're like real. You don't have like this big crazy number that like to me is bought and paid for. Like there's no way that Jaren has that many subs, in my opinion. There's no way that Globebusters had that many, or Witsit has that many, or any of these people. I just don't believe it, especially for how slow their chat goes and how few comments are like on their videos and everything compared to other channels that do have a lot more. So to me, like I agreed to come on here with you because you seem like a real person, not like part of the lodge, like, so I don't know, like I appreciate the smaller channels, because I was a smaller channel up until a few months ago, until I dropped Spitgate, and you know what I mean? And I'm still a small channel. I got like 1,000 subs or whatever. So
Hashtag Speedgate, because we have a couple of our emojis for the memberships of the channel are related. We have the Humbly Bro, and it's with it going like this on his own stream. That is pretty dope. Bugs of Buster, I dislike Witsit as much as anyone. But is he actually dumb? Does his extreme narcissism only make him come across as dumb? Might be unpopular, but I don't think he's dumb. I think he's dumb as fuck.
I think he's memorized his script well, and he comes across as smart because he memorized a bunch of words. So he's good at memorizing, but proof that he's not smart is that you showing him that math problem, or whoever that was in that clip that you just showed, and him not, like, for him to claim, oh, I can do this, I can do that, I have this, IQ of this and that, and then not be able to do, a math problem and avoid it and whatever, like, I guess you need to be a certain amount of intelligence to be able to get out of and squirm his way out of all the shit that he squirmed his way out of. But that doesn't make somebody smart. That makes somebody dishonest, and that's what he is. So that's
I feel that that's the same vibe that I get with him and some of the other debaters. It's like I was asking him the other day a very direct question, and he would just default back to his script, and the question was very specifically thought out so that he couldn't just fall back on his script, and he doesn't. So when people say he's like a great debater, no, he's not. He's kind of
he's got a script, and I remember hearing from Kath back in 2015, 16 that there was scripts going around on both sides, some PDF file or something that people would share back and forth. You'd start typing in, you'd be in the middle of a debate and, you could hear them typing in keywords and all the responses would come up, and they would literally name the responses off in the order that they're on the list. Because I remember he shared some of the lists that he, that were going around, and it was so funny to hear debates. And it's like, that they have the list because they're literally naming it off like boom, 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 So that's another thing that makes me like not trust a lot of the people out here. Sorry, the dog's coming over here.
no problem. People love the pets. My cat is actually the main character of this channel. I don't know where he's now, but yes, everyone loves my cat. Couple more and I'll let you go. I have to say thank you so much. This has been a blast. You're a delight. And I laughed a lot, and it's good that even though we disagree on the shape of the earth, we can bond over other stuff. That is pretty awesome.
Right?
I kind of like it. Yes. So, two questions finally. What do you think about the shape of the moon? Do you have a theory about how far the sun is?
I do. I think that the moon, I still trip out that there's that you can see blue sky through it during the day. And, I used to have a friend that lived in Kuwait, and we would, we both see the moon in the sky at the same time. And, as far as celestial stuff goes, like, I'll admit, like, I have no idea. Like, I don't even like, I don't think it's super far away, but I also like, I know that the optics can play tricks on you, like there's things that, I mean, you could never even, like, that's part of like the argument that we had against the ether guys, is because, it's like I guess they weren't around or never watched those videos that were from, I forget his name right now. What is it? He had like an accent, and he, I forget his name, but anyways, he, was pointing out that the actual sun and the apparent sun, like, you could never triangulate the sun, basically, like, because you're looking through the atmosphere. And so, I don't really have much of a theory about the sun, other than I don't think it's 93 million miles away. But that's all right. Pretty much where I'm at. Celestial stuff is kind of like, it's a trip to me. Like, I always like looking at the stars, and I'm interested by it. And I don't think that we'll ever really know. But I do like to listen to other people's theories on it. And I do still like that plasma theory about the moon being like plasma or whatever, because how else will you see like the sky through it, unless it's some sort of like a reflection or like some kind of a optical illusion or something,
Can I show you something regarding that for
Sure.
just a moment? We don't need to get like super heavy into it. But this is my friend. He has a kick-ass telescope, Seafoam. And he takes these pictures himself.
Nice.
And you can see, like, there's shadows on the moon. And that if the moon was plasma, like, how do you have a shadow on a plasma?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the same way, like, the what's it called? Holograms and stuff. There's shadows that, have you seen those videos of people like doing concerts now? Like, I mean, I know we saw Tupac like 10 years ago.
The Tupac one, yes.
Yeah, but there's like newer ones now that like, there was a clip that I saw of like Candace Owens, and it looked, you could see shadows on her. You could see all of that. So, I mean, not to say that I think it's a hologram in the sky, but we don't really know. And then also, as a question to your friend, has he ever recorded that the lunar wave? Is that something that Have you like heard of that or seen
Yes,
that
I've heard
footage?
of that, but
Okay.
it's only one video,
No,
as
I
far
think
as I know.
it was several videos, but it was all from the same guy, and then there was
Right.
somebody else that supposedly caught it. I can't remember the name of the channel, but I think it was like a year and a half ago that I saw that somebody else had supposedly captured it. But you know, I also don't trust Crow 777, and I don't trust any of these people that they're not just sharing the same thing, or that it's like one of his people that are sharing his old video or something. You know, like I haven't done any like real analysis on it to like see if it's the same exact video or if it is two different videos. Or but thank you for reminding me of that, because that's one of the things that I wanted to, you know, kind of do a deep dive on and see if that video, you know, holds up or whatever. But I remember thinking that
You
was
got it.
really interesting, the whole lunar wave concept, but which would give credence to either, you know, maybe it is a rock outside of a firmament or something, and there's waves because there's water up there or something. We're inside like a giant bubble. Like I entertain all of the things now that I think we're moving upward, and people are like, well, how could we be moving upward? I'm like, I don't know, maybe we're a giant tree or something, you know, and the tree is growing upward. Maybe we're in a bubble, so maybe the ball earthers aren't so far off. Maybe it is a sphere, but it's like flat inside the sphere, inside the bubble, moving up. And you know, who knows? I try not to be closed-minded to
Uh,
any of it,
there
but
was one thing that, because I heard Witsit asked you one time if you were a Christian, and you said no.
mhm.
Are you religious? Are you atheist? What is your?
I was into Rob Skiba back in the day. Like I listened to some of his stuff, and I started kind of, you know, looking more into the biblical stuff. I grew up in a private school, you know, second through eighth grade, and so that was shoved down my throat every day, you know, multiple times. Like
Uh-huh.
it's frustrating when I hear Christians like try and talk down on me, like, oh, you don't even, you know, like you need to read the Bible. I'm like, dude, I grew up studying the Bible like heavily in school, you know, like, and going to church, you know, twice a week, and you know, being in the choir and doing all this shit. Like, and to me, like, it doesn't resonate with me, you know, like religion, organized religion as a whole. Like, I don't even know, like, I can't even claim that I know that there's a creator either. Because to me, that's something that's like another thing it's like asking why, like, what's pushing us upward? I don't know. You know, like, how did we get here?
Okay.
If there's a creator, then what created the creator? Did the creator create itself? You know, like, there's so many more it opens up so many more questions to me that, like, I don't know. To me, I try to stay open to it, but I see organized religion as like a control mechanism, and it's something that
So, what do you
does
believe
it.
in? More of like a prime mover kind of a deity, or no God?
Um, I used to be thinking more like that, and now like I, because like it's funny because when Witsit said the other night, like it's talking about thermodynamics, and I'm like, but if nothing can be created, or you know, or uncreated, or whatever, energy is energy, then like how can there be a creator creating things? You
Yeah, he
know,
doesn't
like,
understand that it fails as a scientific argument, it fails as a theological argument, and it has a critical flaw that is based on the fallacy of special pleading. So it's one of the worst arguments ever,
yeah,
and I kind of knew that that's what he does.
yeah,
So that's why I pushed him a little bit on it.
yeah.
And like he dug himself up, and then well, Tony came on, and I kind of went off to something else. Final question here: what thing or things stand out to make you decide the current stance on the way shape of the Earth is?
Well, in the beginning, it was, you know, mostly being able to see things that I didn't think you should be able to see, um, and you know, just I don't know. I guess I've always been like questioning authority my whole life, and so you know, when you have the
That's good.
government telling you one thing, I kind of always automatically think it's bullshit. You know, doesn't matter what it is. Like, you know, if it's being pushed on the media, it's being pushed in all these things, I'm like, why are they pushing this? What's the real reason? You know, um but for me now, like the whole upward movement, that to me is like such a huge blow to the globe that I don't know how else to explain, like, because so that to me, that's my number one proof, or whatever you'd want to call the one thing that's keeping me still thinking it's flat, even though all the flat earthers seem to hate me.
I get that, but it does seem. I interviewed on a channel that is no longer exist. I interviewed Shifty Eye Shady, and I also interviewed Jaren because we did a pre-TFE interview, and then we also did a post-TFE interview with Jaren and with Shifty, who is one of the former flat earther, because of the results of the final experiment, right? And we were talking that when you get into the flat earth, but then if you want to get out, they react a little bit like criminal gangs react, that they just pound you and you get a beating for trying to just talking about leaving the gang. And
well, and I've never
go ahead.
sorry. No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just saying I didn't even want to leave the gang. All I said was to hold on to your wallets, and I got shunned. So all I said is don't donate. Watch out. You might not get this book. You might not get this thing that they're promoting. And because that was what I had friends that were giving them money for certain, for things that they were selling, and they weren't getting it. So that's the only thing that I did, was just call out the grifting and call out the lies and them not following through on things. And then that's what got me booted out of it. So like, I'm still a flat earther, and I'm still like,
Witsit, I'm in a weird position that I've called him out so much that now if he deletes me or blocks me or whatever, he looks like a massive fool and a coward, because I've called him out so much. Witsit is so happy when he sees me. That is hilarious. I have a couple final things that people wanted to tell you. I'm the Craig says I'm in love with this girl. Me too, a little bit. So huge success, everyone. Everyone loved you. But I have to say it was awesome having you. We had a lovely chat, laughed a little bit, and we'll give it some time, but we can schedule to talk a little bit more about TFE if you want. But take your time. I don't want to rush you or pressure you. So
I think I'd rather instead of going on Toon's channel, I'd rather come on here and have Toon come on here and talk on here with you guys than go on his channel.
That works. We can. I'm friends with Toon, so we could do that if you. Yeah, that would be awesome.
Word. Cool. Well, thanks for having me on.
Anything you would like to say before we go?
No. I appreciate you having me on. I think this is the first time I've done a show, other than I went on Natch's show with Jason, but that was more about upward stuff and covering, Jason's demonstrations and stuff that he's been doing. So yeah, I appreciate the invite, and you were making me laugh the other night, you and the boys that were in here. So I was like, you know what, these guys are cool. They seem like down to earth, like real people, when I used to go out, you kind of remind me of people that when I did used to go out and I'd go out and shoot pool and, go out on the town and stuff, back in the day. And I was like known as the flat earth girl around town, and people would come up to me, the people I didn't even know, and would start like trying to debate me in public and shit like that. So it's, and like, sometimes it went well, sometimes it didn't go well. Sometimes people would get really angry at me. And I learned a long time ago that that's not, like, being angry is not a way to get through to people. And I honestly don't even care about getting through to anybody. Like, to me, like, I'm not trying to like convince anybody of anything. I'm just trying to exist, really, so, and not be like talked down on or, whatever about it. And so I appreciate anybody that comes at me respectfully. I'll give you respect right back, so.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That I kind of go by the same, but with Witsit, just the in his tone of voice, it's just too much.
Yeah,
like, I can't even give him a second of grace. It's just like, no, I'm all in, just with the aggression.
Yeah, I agree.
Alrighty, peeps. Thank you so much, everyone over there. Thank you again, Rusted Soul. Tomorrow we have after show. There's a debate on MDD. I don't remember what topic, but I'll put that up in just a few. And we have a debate on Saturday morning with Craig, First Amender, Josh Monday, and another guy who I forget his name. This was epic. Thank you, everyone. We'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Have a great night. I will see you tomorrow.
Toodles.